Hello and welcome to our first Dreamweaver website design project. In this series you'll learn how to build a complete website from start to finish using Dreamweaver CS6. You can use your own images and resources for this project, or if you prefer you can download all of the project files shown in these tutorials. You can also get the complete series manual in printed or ebook format along with the high definition video tutorials from wizibooks.com. Let's go a little bit deeper and explain more about what these are: the margin, the padding and the border. I'm going to focus on my social media icons and the div that they're contained in. And what I'm going to do is set up a rule for my social media div. Now if you remember, when we created this div we gave it the ID of social media. So let's just switch back to code view and just see that. If I scroll down, there it is, there's the div for social media, and we placed our items in an unordered list, but the ID that we gave this div was social media, so that's what I'm going to be targeting in my CSS file. So I'll switch back to CSS, and what I'll need for this is an ID tag. An ID tag start with a hash sign, and I'll type in its name, social media, and we must type this name exactly as it appears in our HTML document. I'll press tab and open the curly brackets, and the first thing I'm going to change is the margin settings. So I'm going to come down a line and type in margin colon, and I want to set this to 20 pixels. So I'm going to type 20 px. Whenever we're giving a value that's not 0, we need to put the px in to specify that this is a measurement in pixels. I'll finish that line with a semicolon and press return. Now I'm going to close the curly brackets. So I've made a change to the social media and put 20 pixels of margin all around. I'll save that and switch to my Google Chrome window, and let's refresh that. And what you'll see is that we've got a little bit of space difference around our social media icons, and now also we can see those bullets they've returned. So let's go back to Dreamweaver, and let's also change the padding. So I'll place my cursor at the end of my first rule and press enter, and then we'll type in padding. And as I type again, you can see the code hint window appears, so I can just select enter. Dreamweaver will put the colon in for me to separate the property name from the value, and we'll also make this 20 pixels. Finish off with a semicolon, and again we'll save. Now at this point we can switch back to Google to take a look and see the effect, or we can use split view as I've got here, and if I click on this side you'll see how that area has been updated, and here we can see a little clearer our margin and padding. So the margin is on the outside of the div. The div is represented by this red box, so our margin is placed outside of the div. So we have 20 pixels of margin above, and we also have 20 pixels of margin to the left. And because we haven't specified individual settings at this moment, we've also got 20 pixels of margins at the bottom and also at the right. The padding, however, that's applied inside of the div. So the spacing between the top of the Facebook icon and the outer edge of the div is 20 pixels. And that's our padding. So although we've reset our style sheet with the 0 settings at the top, we're now applying our own padding and margin settings to the social media area. Let's work on this last bit, the border. So my cursor is at the end of the padding rule. I'll press return, and this time I'll type in border. Now with border we need to specify 3 values. We need a value for the thickness of the border, a color for the border, and we also need a style for the border. So first of all, let's specify a 5 pixel thickness. So we'll simply type in 5px. Then we type a space. We're not closing it yet because we have to define the other two values. The next value is going to be the color, and I'm going to make this border red. So I'll type in the hexadecimal code for red. Another space. And now the type of the line. And this line is going to be a solid line. So I've specified the three values: 5 pixel thickness, red in color, and solid. I'll just finish that off with a semicolon. And then when we come over here and click, you'll see that red border has been applied. And now we can see the margin and padding a little clearer. So margin on the outside of the div, padding on the inside of the div. And of course the border in this case is 5 pixels thick. Now I've used this social media rule to demonstrate the differences between margin, padding and border, and we've seen that and how it affects the layout of our elements over here. But this is not how we want our final web page to look. So for now I'm going to delete this entire section of code from my CSS sheet. So I'll delete that. When we click back over here, you'll see that that formatting's been removed. So we've added our reset, and we've changed our default font to Arial. And in the next few lessons we'll start to add more rules to our CSS sheet, and we'll see our web page start to take shape. If you found this series of videos helpful and you want to receive updates on video tutorials as they're released, why not subscribe to my channel? And don't forget to like and share it with your friends.